Record. Okay. So the last time we were discussing shift registers, and in the shift registers we discussed that there are shift registers, some basic kind of shift registers you design using implicit description in the Verilog, and sometimes you need to design some parameterized shift registers, and we designed few parameterized shift registers, such as, if you remember this, we designed free running shift register, and we also designed universal shift register, and we also designed, in the last class, we also designed the test benches for the shift registers. So confirm me, the voice issue is to everybody, or is just only few people are experiencing the problem in the audio?
सर आपकी आवाज मतलब आ रही है, उतनी क्लियर नहीं आ रही लेकिन आ रही है somehow.
Okay, so I will try to speak louder. Now is it okay? Okay, let me know if it is okay. So last time we were discussing shift registers, and in shift registers we design universal shift register and its test bench. Okay, so this is the universal shift register last time we designed. So in this book the test bench is not available, but we designed the test bench also. And in this class we will try to design something which is called register file. And register file, what is a register file? Register file is basically a collection of registers. And what is register? Register is basically a collection of flip-flops. Okay. So shift register is basically any register is basically a collection of register with a common clock. If you talk about 4-bit register, it is a collection of flip-flops with a common clock. It is called register. And there is something called, and you remember that a single flip-flop can store a single bit of data. And if you want to store more than one bit of the data, you need more than one flip-flop. If you want to store 8 bit of the data, you need 8-bit register. Okay, but what if you want to store two 8 bits of data, or two words? If I say the one single bit is a word, and you want to store 2 words, if you want to store 8 words, if you want to store 10 words, so then how would you create a memory to store that kind of thing? That kind of thing is called two-dimensional memory, where you have capacity to store many words at the same time. And in the other language, it is also called register file, right? So register file is a collection of registers. For example, if you combine more than one 8-bit registers, it becomes a register file. Okay, so register file is a collection of registers with one input port and one and more output ports, right? So definitely it is a memory. So it will have some ports for the reading and some ports for the writing. And it will have some ports for the control and for the clock. So if we are assuming a register file or a two-dimensional memory, which is able to store many words, it would have definitely some, what kind of ports we need? It would definitely need some control signal, whether this control signal will define whether we want to write into the memory or read from the memory. So we need a control signal, and that input is basically a control signal. And the second thing we need Whenever, definitely you know that from the microcontroller, whenever you want to read the memory, you need some specific kind of address, or you want to write in memory, you need some specific kind of address to write from. So for every reading and writing operation, you need some addresses. So what we are doing, we are defining some W addresses. W addresses are for writing addresses, and there are some R addresses. R addresses are for reading addresses, right? And then there are something is called W data, and there is a something called R data. So that is the data which we want to write into the memory, and when we read the data, and that data, the data we are reading from the memory, that will go from the memory to the output port is called R data. Okay. So we are using parameter to define the size of the memory. For example, what is the size of the memory? Size of the memory is 2 bytes, right? So there is a single byte, b is equal to 8. This is the size of the word. We say size of the word, which is 8 bits or 1 byte. And how many words? How many words? It is basically defined in terms of addresses. So when we say W is equal to 2, means number of address bits are 2. When number of address bits are 2, 2 address bits will be enough to address 4 words, right? Because if you look into the combination of 2 bits, the combination would be 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. So we can accommodate 4 words into 2 bits. So this will be a memory of 8 by 4, right? Or you can say the 4 by 8 memory. 4 by 8 means there are 4 words, and each word is a 8 bit, right? So the once the parameters are defined, the ports are defined. So you can see that how the ports are defined here. So the addresses are 0 to W minus 1, because it is a size is 2, so it will become 0 to 1. So it will become a 2 bit. And the word size is 8, so it will become 0 to B minus 1. So this is also data. This is also data port. Both data ports will be 0 to B minus 1. Okay. So after all the initialization of port, what we need to basically create a memory. So before that, we always created a single dimensional memory. We used range, and we used some size b minus 1 to 0, let's say, and then we did name some variable, and it created some memory. But now the memory we want to create is a 2-dimensional memory. So there is a change of the syntax. If you can see that there's a change of the syntax, rather than one size, we are defining the 2 sizes, 2 dimensions. So this is 1 dimension we are defining here, and this is another dimension we are defining here. This dimension basically says what is the word size. So word size is B, and this dimension basically is defining what are the number of the words. So what will be the number of the words? The number of words will be 2 raised to power W minus 1. So 2 raised to power W, it will become 4. Okay, so W is equal to 2, 2 raised to power 2 will be equal to 4, and minus 1, it will be equal to 3. So 0 to 3 means 4 words. Okay. Okay, so next part where we are supposed to decide about the controlling, how the memory will be controlled using this signal. We say that we will do that using always block, because the sequential circuit is a sequential circuit, so we will use a always block. So always block with a positive edge of the clock, and we say if this signal is write enable signal is activated, then perform the writing operation. How the writing operation will be performed? Whenever you want to perform a writing operation, you need to specify some address. So every time there's a writing data, this is the this is the data which is supposed to be written inside the memory. That data will be written on to this address. This W address is the address of the memory where this data will be written over. And this is the name of the memory. Name of the memory we have defined here. This is same name here. So name of the memory, address of the memory, and this is the data, which is actual data, which will be written inside the memory, right? And how the read operation will be performed. And here we have done read operation using assign statement. We say if this is not the case, if write is not activated, write is disabled, then do this, assign R data, array range, and read. And then what will read operation will be performed using this address. So read from this address, from this memory, and assign to the R data. R data is the output port which will take the data from the memory to the out. Okay, so that's it. This is how you create a two-dimensional memory in the FPGA. So this is just
सर
like a
थोड़ी सी
RAM.
कंफ्यूजन है
Sorry.
सर कंफ्यूजन हो रही है क्योंकि वो मतलब ये हमारे पास राइटिंग एड्रेस राइट एड्रेस को अरे अरेज से कैसे कनेक्ट कर रहे हैं आप
Right where?
जी इसी लाइन में आप मतलब ये अरे अरेज में ये पुट कर रहे हैं ना WADR
No, this is a address. Okay, we want to save this data. Okay, we want to write this data or save this data into this memory. This is the memory, right? And where we want to save this data? We want to save this data in this address. This is the address we are specifying. For example, you want to save the data, you need to specify the address because there are four addresses in the memory, 0, 1, 2, 3. So here we need to specify the address. Okay, this address, this data will go to the memory, right?
श्योर सर और सर ये अरे अरेज है ये कोई भी वेरिएबल हम नेम रख सकते हैं ये कोई कीवर्ड तो नहीं है ना सर इसके लिए
No, it's just a name of the memory. Okay. So before that we used to define a memory variable using single dimension. पहले हम define करते थे. Let's look at this. If you look at the previous memories, previous two-dimensional memories, if I have an example here, maybe here. Okay, so look at this. For example, this is single dimensional register. This is range, and this is the dimension of the register, and this is the name of the register. Okay, so this was the syntax before. Now we are defining a two-dimensional memory. So what we are doing, so look at the difference basically. So difference is this, so you put range here, and then you put size of the memory. Size of the memory, which size? The horizontal size or word size. In other words, you define word size. So this is the word size, and this is called number of words. Okay, so this is number of words, and this is the word size. I always assume that this is horizontal direction and this is vertical direction of the memory, right?
Sure.
So what I will do now, I will go to Vivado and I will write this code, and then we'll write the test page for this code, and then we will. Okay, so let me change the screen, Vivado, and tell me when the screen has been shared, right? Okay, so can you see the Vivado right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first of all, module. So I will go with the, for example, when I'm designing a register file, I need basically some output ports. So in the output ports, it is first of all, let's say I need R data, and then I need some input ports, and in the input ports I need clock, and then I need R address, and then I need W address. Okay, and then I need W data. So that's all I need to design a mailbox. So then first, once it is once the ports are initialized, then I have to decide the size of the memory. Okay, so what is the size of the memory? So the size of the memory is basically, so this is two-dimensional memory. First of all, I have to define what is the word size, and then I have to define what are the number of the words. So word size I define, let's say, using B. So B is equal to, word size is 8 bits. Okay, so B is 8. And number of words. So number of words are specified using addresses. If we need 4 number of words, so we need 2 addresses. So then I say W is equal to 2. Okay, so this is basically word size. And these are number of, these are bits for addresses. Okay, so if there are 2 bits, means we can store 4 words. If there will be 3 words, we could store 6. Oh, sorry, we could store 8. If there were 4, we could store 16 words. Okay, so this is the simplest calculation. So here you go. Now let's define the memory. So let's define the or initialize the two-dimensional memory. Okay, so what is the procedure? The procedure is range. First you define word size. So word size is this, and then you put some name. Let's say I'm not going to use the name you used by the book. Let's say I'm saying it is a RAM. Okay, so it's a 2D RAM, and then I'm saying what is the number of words? Number of words will be 2 raised to power W. Okay, and it will become 4 and -1 and 0, right? So this is the two-dimensional memory defined, and now we need to define the logic. Define reading and writing logic, right? So let's define reading and writing logic. So always, so definitely it is a sequential circuit. It's not a combinational circuit. So it should be positive edge of the clock, begin and end. So I say if, okay, so I missed one port here. Okay, what was the port? The write enable. So WR enable. Oh, I missed to define also some ports here. Initialize define port sizes. So what are the ports? First of all, input wire clock input, and input W. So the addresses are basically W -1 and to 0. Both addresses, read address and ADDR, and also this address. Okay, so the one addresses are defined, and then W write size of the data. What is the size of the data which we are going to write? W data. So, and what is the read data? Because the read data will be an output port. The data we are reading from the So if we are doing in the always block, it will be range. So I will do in the always block rather than in the data flow modeling. Okay, so the output range b minus 1 our data. This is read data. The data we will read from the memory. Right, and then there is a enable signal input y w r enable. Okay. So let's say the WR enable, if this is high, if this is activated, then perform the write operation. Then how to perform the write operation? First of all, pick up the name of the RAM. So this is the name of the RAM. The RAM is, and then put some address. So we are writing, that's why WADDR will be the address, and we are in the always block, so non-blocking assignment. And then we put some data which we want to write. Clear? And then we say else, if this is not the case, then perform the reading operation. And how you will perform the reading operation? You read from the memory and assign to the R data. So what is the memory? Memory is the RAM. And what is will be the address? Address will be ADDR. Okay, so that's it. So that's the logic. Now we will design test bench. Module GB and module. Okay, so these are the parameters I need. Again, same parameters. So I'll say this will become range. This will become range. This will become range. This will become range, and this will become y. So first of all, we need to instantiate this module. So first of all, let's instantiate. Okay, so the instantiation is done. And then let's create a clock. So the clock is very easy. 0, always, and some delay. And then clock is equal to toggle clock. Okay, so the clock is created. Then we need another initial block to test reading and reading operation, writing operation. So first of all, we'll do some reading operation and writing operation. Then we'll perform some reading operation. So first of all, reading, writing operation. Let's do some writing. So in order to write, first of all, what we need write enable signal activated to 1. So this is writing 1. So that's why we are writing, and we need to mention some address. So WADDR is equal to 0. So let's pick the first address, and what we want to save. Let's say we want to, what is the data we want to save on this memory address? Any 8-bit number we can save. So we can put in the form of decimals. We can put in the form of binary. So let me put in the form of decimal. So 8-bit number can allocate almost 256. So let me put 100, a simple number which we can remember. Okay, so this is written. Let's wait for the clock. So wait for the clock. Neck age and make age clock, and then keep the write table same and just change the address and change the data. Okay, so because let's write another thing. Let's write 110. Okay, so the address will become 1. Let's do some another writing operation. Third writing operation. So in the third writing operation, address will be changed to 2, and then here we'll put 120. And fourth writing operation, let's say I'm putting third address here, and some another random variable, some not random, but something which we can remember. So 101, and these are four things. Okay? So here you go. This writing is done. Now let's do some reading operation. So for reading, what we need to WR enable to 0. Otherwise, reading cannot happen, and we need to provide which memory address we want to read from. So first of all, let's say we want to read from R ADR 0. Okay, and then we want to read from, let's put some delay of 1 negative edge, and then we want to read from R address 1, and then some delay. Okay, so then some delay. And then some delay. All right, so these are the addresses. 1, this is 2, this is 3. So these are the okay, so the reading operation is done. Then put some delay and then finish the simulation. Let's say nag and clock and stop simulation. Okay, so I think we can see this register file is instantiated. Everything is going all right. So let's simulate the file. So I do not need this. I do not need this. So I'll convert into some decimals and sign decimals. Okay. So have a look. Have a look. So this is the write enable. So this for the first few clock cycles, the write enable was activated. So when the write enable was activated, we gave some addresses. This is the address, and this is the data. So the first address, this data we gave, second address, this data, third address. These were the values we written inside the memory. 0 at the 0 address, 100, 1 address, 110 to second address, and the third address we basically wrote, and the third address we basically wrote 130. Okay, so now let's check whether whether this data was written inside the memory or not, and this can only be verified while we read it. So when we read it, we started reading after this one. Okay, I think there is some we need to keep writing here. We need to keep writing here. We need to keep writing here. Okay. Okay. We need a delay of 1 clock cycle here. Right. So do not need this. That is unsigned decimal. Okay. So we kept writing this data 100, 110, 120, and 130 on these addresses, and in this part, when we write enable is deactivated. So now it is a reading operation performed. So when reading operation, we will look at the reading address. So first of all, reading address is 0. So at the reading address, when we saw that we read the data which comes into our data, which is 100, and in the second we change the address to 1, the data was 110, and the third we change the address to 2, and the data was 120, and when we change the address to 3, data was read into the, which was 130. Okay, so now it is verified that our memory, two-dimensional memory, is working fine. We are able to write some values, we are able to read some values. Okay, so now if you have any questions, so you can ask me. Any questions?
सर स्पेसिफिकली अगर मतलब हमें एक अभी तो पूरा वर्ड एक्सेस हो रहा है ना, मतलब जैसे वो 8 बिट का पूरा
Yes,
जब
we are accessing
रीड
8
कर
bit
रहे हैं
word.
या राइट करें तो भी 8 बिट कर रहे हैं, तो हम क्या उसकी एक बिट को मतलब नहीं कर सकते, पूरे मतलब बाइट की बजाय एक बिट को एक्सेस नहीं कर सकते?
No, we can't do that because we are basically addressing the byte. So when we are addressing the byte, so we can only pick the direct byte. Okay, so because in this mode we are addressing the byte, direct byte.
Yes sir.
जो the memory we have created, I'm talking about, हम कर सकते हैं किसी और डिजाइन में कर सकते हैं, इस मेमोरी में हम नहीं कर सकते.
Okay sir.
Any questions? Okay, so let's go to another example.
सर अब हम लोग ये वाला एग्जांपल नहीं करें, मतलब अपने अपने विवाडो के ऊपर.
Sorry,
सर हम लोग ये ट्राई करके नहीं देखे, मतलब
आपके पास विवाडो चल रहा है?
सर चल तो रहा है.
हाँ, आप ऐसा करें, हम दो एग्जांपल कर लें, एक दो एग्जांपल कर लें, फिर आप उसके बाद आप उसको प्रैक्टिस करें. मैं कोड शेयर कर दूंगा, ठीक है? एक दो एग्जांपल अभी कर लें हम.
ठीक है सर, ठीक है.
ओके सर.
So this is the register file we done, and let's go to shift register. Shift register we were done, and this is free running binary counter. So I think we haven't discussed this. It's very simple. Let's discuss this. What is free running binary counter? Free running binary counter is a counter which doesn't stop. Okay, we can say the any counter which starts from its lowest value, and it reaches to its highest value, and then comes back, wraps around to its lowest value. Let's say it is a 4-bit counter. It starts from 0 0 0 0, and then it goes like 1 2 3 4, and then it reaches to highest value, that is 1 1 1 1, and then it wraps around. Wraps around means it comes back to 0. This is called free running binary counter. So let's design an 8-bit free running binary counter. So what we are doing here, this is parameter n is equal to 8. We are defining the size of the free running because it is a parameterized. We are designing something which is parameterized. So 8-bit binary counter. This is clock, this is reset, and this is the output of the counter. Definitely whatever the size of the counter will be the output of the counter. So there is another signal which is, we can say that this is simple, we call it alarm. Like in ADC, you guys are doing some projects in the ADC related. there are some statistic alarms in the modules. So what these alarms do, they basically tell if there are other modules in the project, they need some alarms to do some specific task. So in this case, this max tick is a signal which will be activated when it reaches when the counter reaches the highest value. So it says that the counter is ticking. When it ticks the maximum value, this max tick signal will be activated. So this is not useful here, but it might be useful in other where this counter is being used in bigger projects. So this is basically called, you can say it is a alarm. Okay. So this is internal variables, range n-1 and wire are next. Okay, so if you are doing in the data flow, it will be wire, otherwise it will be range. So this is the central part we've discussed. There are three parts in the sequential circuit: next state logic, and there is a current state logic, and there is a output logic. This is current state logic. This is always simple, common part in every model. So posage, clock, posage, reset, and then if reset, RH is equal to 0, otherwise R next will be applied to RH. Okay, in the next state logic will keep counting into the current state. So this is the current state, and every time current state will be updated RH plus 1. Okay, and this is the output logic where output of the current state will be applied to the output part. Okay, and if you want to generate a next tick, so we are using conditional operator. We are saying if R range becomes 2 raised to power n minus 1, 2 raised to power n minus 1 will become a highest value. If R range becomes a highest value, then assign 1 to the max tick, otherwise keep it with a 0. Okay, it's a very simple logic. No need to confuse around. Okay, so this is the logic. Why I am writing this code? Because code is very simple. I'm writing this code just to explain you the test bench, how to design a test bench for the sequential circuit. Okay, so this is the circuit. Let's remember, and then go to share screen, go to Vivado, and do this code. Disable. Free binary counter. Okay, so here you go, free running binary counter. Okay, so this is what we need. We need for binary counter, definitely we need some Q. And then you need at the output some alarm signal, next tick. And at the input, you need clock. So that's it. Maybe you need some reset. Okay, so if it is parameterized, if it is n-bit counter, so let's say n is equal to 8. So the parameter will be 8. So input wire, so clock, comma, reset, and output. If we are doing in the always, it will be reg. So I will put so the one is Q. Q is parameterized. So n minus 1 to 0 Q and output. So I will do this in data flow modeling. So I'm keeping it wire. So max tick I will do in data flow modeling. That's it. Okay. So the ports are defined, and now let's define the current state logic. Before current state logic, you need some initial registers. So you need some initial registers. So you need a range, and you define using range. What is the size? Size will be n-1. Okay. Okay, so the R next. If you're doing R next in the always block, then it will be also. Let me put R next here also. Okay, because it depends if you are designing next state logic, it is a combinational logic. But if you are designing in the behavioral, then it should be range. If we are designing in the data flow, it will be while. So I'm assuming I'm going to design in the always block, right? So the first always block for the current state logic. So always pose edge clock, pose edge reset, and then begin. And so let's say if reset, then our range will be equal to 0, else our range will be equal to right. So this is the current state logic, and then let's say next state logic. This will be always block, or this will be combinational circuit. So in the combinational circuit, it becomes like this. Okay, so the logic is very simple. Logic says that R next is equal to, because counter is very simple logic. The counter says R next is equal to R next R range. R range is the current state plus 1. So you keep counting to the current state. If current state is 0, then add the 1 to the current state. It becomes the next state, and then this next state will go to the current state. So the current state will keep updating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. Okay, so it's a very simple next state logic. And what will be the output logic? Output logic will be, output logic is simple. Whatever the value of R range, that will be assigned to the output. Okay, so whatever the value of R range is, that will be assigned to the output. Okay, so that's it. So now we need to define max tick. So if I'm going to define the max tick here, I can do the max tick here. So let's try to do max tick here. So let's say while, if I say max tick here, so I need to put begin. Okay. So we'll say if the condition is R range is equal to n is equal to 8. So 2 raised to power n, 2 raised to power n minus 1. So this is the maximum value. If counter reaches max value, then what happens? If counter reaches max value, then max tick else max tick is equal to 0. All right, so this is the Okay, so this is the design done. Let's design the test bench. So let's take these parameters. So this input will be wire. Input will be reg, and these will be wires. And this will be reg, wire. And now let's instantiate the design. So the design is okay. So instantiate the design. So the design is instantiated. Now generate the color. Okay, so how to generate the color? Simple initial color is equal to 0. Okay, and always sometime, and then color is equal to toggle color, right? So the color is generated. That's it. And then we need to reset the system and unreset the system, right? So first of all, reset and then reset. So reset is, so look at this, reset is positive. Okay, so first of all, 0, reset is equal to 0. And then I'll say some delay. Okay, and then reset is equal to 1. So reset is activated here. And then after another negative edge of the clock, reset is again back to 0. So reset is unactivated, or you can say deactivated, right? So that's it. I hope it works. So let's remove this one, discard this one. So this is fine here. So let's simulate this. I think I forgot to stop the simulation. So the simulation will be a huge, big simulation. So I do not need these parameters. So I will delete that. And let's see, I will choose them to be in sign hexadecimal, and I'll keep here. Okay, so it has gone from some 0 to, this is the reset signal we applied. So here the reset was positive, and then reset came into negative. And after that, it started counting from 0 to 1 and else. So right now the counting has reached to 47. Counting has reached to 47. It is counting on every positive edge of the clock, right? If you want to increase the counting, then you click here. Okay, so the counting is increased. Okay, so a little bit zoom required. Maybe. Okay, going on, counting is going on. I want to check where the metric signal is generated. Okay, so keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, here you go. So whenever it touches the 255, that is the maximum value 8-bit counter can go, it generates a max tick. Otherwise, it goes down again. Okay, so that's it. Any question? Any question in this code?
Yes, sir, if you can show the code.
Okay, so let me share you the code. Okay, so I will go to code share.
आप अगर यहीं से दिखा रहे हैं सर, इसको सिमुलेशन को हटा के वो दिखा दें कोड.
अच्छा, you want to see the code?
Yes sir.
This one?
Yes sir. वो उसका काउंटर का देखना चाहता था ऊपर से. ये तो स्कैनर टीबी है सर.
Okay, I think I'll share you on the code share so everybody can see and they can use also.
Sure, sir.
Okay, so this is the code configuration counter. And this is the. Okay, so here you go. You got the link. So try this link, read the code, try this code and Vivado. Good. So in the previous counter, we were not loading any value, so there was a no input D, but here we have a capability of loading any value. Like we do not want to start the counting from 0. Sometimes you want to start the counting from 100. And from 100 to 99, 98, 97, like this. So maybe from 100 to 150, you want to counter which counts from 100 to 150. So these sort of counters can use these loading conditions. And then you have two alarm signals, maxtick and mintick. Because it is the up counter, is also a down counter. So it will have a both maxtick and mintick. So for mintick for the down counting and maxtick for the up counting. And then there is a Q signal. Okay, so simple. And then there is a rage signal, right? Rage for the R rage and R next. And this is current state logic. It's the absolutely same part as we designed in the previous logic. So no change in any line. And then there is a next state logic. So next state logic says that. So basically there are multiple functions. That's why we needed to use case statement or if else. So we are not using case statement here, but we are using if else conditions. So it says that if synchronized clear, if it is synchronized clear is activated, then R next is equal to 0. Okay, means if clear signal is activated, then R next is equal to 0. If there is a loading condition is activated, then load into the R next value. If it is enable is activated and up is any activated, then it will generate up counting. If it is enable is activated and up is not activated, then it will generate down counting. Else it will keep the current state same. Okay, and this is the output logic. R rage will be directly applied to Q. This is maxtick logic. This is mintick logic. Okay, so it's a very simple. It's very simple logic. So let's go to Vivado and create another file. First of all, disable these files and then add source, create file. Universal binary counter. Okay, so I will try to keep it simple. Okay, so I will not go into many different kind of signals. So I will try to keep it very simple. Okay, so what are the output ports? So counting, you need Q, you need maxtick, you need mintick, and for the input, you need D, you need clock, you need reset. That's it. Okay, so you need some up signal, which will define whether it's up counting or down counting. Okay. Okay. So I will not use up. I think maybe I will use CTRL, control signal. Okay, so this looks, maybe the good idea is to use up and in. So there's a no gold standard. Okay, so you can use your own thinking. I'm using up and in. You can use control, whatever you feel convenient. So let's say what is convenient. I'm not sure about right now. So let's say parameter size of the counter is n. So n is equal to 8. Then you need some input signals. Reset and some input enable, and some input is up, and Q, and you need some input n-1 and -1D. For the output, you need mixtic, you need Q, mintic. Okay, and sorry, you need Q, and then you need output, mintic and mixtic. So okay, so let's say we are doing this in this Q in the red, because we're doing the always block, and this we will do inside the data flow model. Okay, so internal registers. Okay, so internal registers, you need two internal registers, one and size will be same as the size of the counter, R reg and R next. Okay, so this part, I told you this part is completely same. I do not need to write again. So it's completely same. I will just copy. Okay. So this is the current state logic. And what is the next state logic? The next state logic is always so let's say we are using if statement. If it is enabled and it is up. Okay. Okay, so we need also loading signal. We also need a loading signal. Okay, I'm saying if this is activated, if this is not activated, let's say, and if this is also not activated, then it is loading condition. Okay. So if it is loading condition, then how to load? We always load into the R next value. And what should be loaded? D will be loaded. Else if for the up counting, let's say it is enabled and it is also up. Okay, so in this condition, R next is equal to R rate plus 1, right? Else if enable up, if it is enabled but up is not 1, then do the down counting. Okay, so this is the down counting. So else else. Okay, so let's say I'm going to change this condition. It's quite difficult now. Okay, so let's say these both are 0, 0, and this is 1, 1, and this is okay. I need another signal. I need another signal, load signal. I need another signal load. So let's see, I'm putting load here. Enable and right. So now it is clear. So here we say if it is not enabled, then keep the value same as RH. So okay, so this is
if use करेंगे ना.
yes. So this is loading condition. This is up counter. This is down counter. This is no change, right?
सर ये इस कंडीशन का मकसद समझ में नहीं आ रहा.
Sorry.
ये जो लोडिंग कंडीशन है, फर्स्ट कंडीशन है, इसका मकसद समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि हम ये एक्सेल इसको बना क्यों रहे हैं असल में.
ये लोडिंग कंडीशन का मतलब है कि हम अगर काउंटर को कोई इनिशियल वैल्यू से लोड करें, क्योंकि इनिशियली काउंटर 0 होता है ना. अगर हम चाहते हैं कि वो 0 से स्टार्ट ना हो, फॉर एग्जांपल किसी वैल्यू से स्टार्ट हो, तो उसी वजह से हम कोई इनिशियल वैल्यू इसको दे सकते हैं. जैसे डी से डी असाइन कर सकते हो. डी कहाँ से आएगी? डी बाहर से आएगी.
सही है सर.
ठीक है, मैंने एल्स लिख दिया है कि अगर इनमें से कोई भी ऑप्शन मैच नहीं करता फिर भी नो चेंज रहेगा. ठीक है, फिर भी कोई भी चेंजिंग नहीं आएगी. Okay, so this is next state logic, and let's say what is output logic. Output logic may, first of all, we need to assign Q. So Q is very simple. Q is equal to RH. Whatever the value of RH, that will be directly assigned to Q. Okay. And what is the max tick? Max tick in the data flow modeling. So max tick will be assigned max tick. Okay. Then question mark. And then it is, sorry. So what is the condition? When the max tick will be generated, the condition is if RH is equal to twice 2 raised to power n minus 1. If this is the condition, then if this is the condition, then 1, otherwise 0. Okay. And for the Mintic condition, so Q is, let's check, Q must be wire, Q must be wire, because we are doing in the data flow, okay? And this is also data flow. Okay, so Mintic, what is the minting condition? Minting condition is very simple. It should be 0. When it is 0, it has achieved minting. Okay, so when it is achieved minting, this alarm will be 1, otherwise it will be 0. Right? Okay, so let's design the test bench. Okay, so what are the parameters and ports? Let's copy. Reg. Okay, and Y. Okay, so second, the instantiate the design. Okay. Generate the clock. Okay, so now we need to write sign every time. Just copy from here. Okay, so the clock is generated. Now, how many input signals left? Clock, reset, enable, upload. Okay, so got it. So you need another initial block. So this is very important to understand this one. Okay. Okay, so the first of all, let's reset the system. So reset. Let's check it is positive edge reset. Yes. Okay, so positive edge reset. So first of all, keep it 0 and some delay. And then reset is equal to 1 and then some delay. And then reset is equal to 0. Okay, so the reset is done. Now let's say perform the loading, data loading. Okay. So first of all, we want to try some loading operation. Okay. So what the data you want to load? First of all, let's check the condition for the loading. What is the condition for the loading? Loading condition is enable and load. They both need to be activated. So enable is equal to 0. Sorry, enable is equal to 1. Load is equal to 1. So they both are 1, and then you need some data to be loaded. What is the data? D is equal to, let's say I want to start from 50. I want to start my counter from 50. Okay, so when the counter will start from 50, you need some specific clock cycles. So let's say at least you need 205 clock cycles to reach up to 255, right? Okay, so repeat 255, maybe 256, little bit higher, and then and make H clock at the rate. Okay. and then you stop the simulation. Let's say stop the simulation. Okay, so I'm just checking this, only this option, then I will check other options. Okay, so let's say this one is done. Let's check if this operation is going on. One second. If this is the case, then we need some negative clock, and then nebulous put one. Okay, so up is equal to 1, nebula is equal to 1, then okay, so max check, min check, DQ load. Okay, maybe we are missing something here. Okay, maybe Redux issue, Redux issue. Maybe Redux issue. Okay, so where is the up value? Here is the up value. I see. Okay. Okay, so here you go, 8395. Let's run some more simulation. So, okay, here you go, here you go. Starts from here. So you can see the counting basically starts from 50. Okay, and then it goes to keep counting, keep counting, keep counting. Okay, here you go. When it reaches to 50 to 55, it generates a next signal, and when it reaches to 0, it generates a 0 signal. Okay, so the first one is done. So data loading and up counting. So first of all, I'm saying let's say simple up counting. Up counting from 0. So for the up counting from 0, you need enable signal. Then you need up signal. So that just these two signals should be 1 to generate up counting. Okay. So for you need to keep the values alive for at least 256 clock cycles. Copy here. Why I'm putting 256 here? Because I want to keep the simulation, like I want to wait for the 256 clock cycles, because this is the 8-bit counter. It will need 256 clock cycles to wrap around to come to become to 0. Okay. Right, negative edge clock. So this is up counting from 0, and then I'm counting from, let's say I want to test down counting. This is counting, down counting from, let's say, I believe it right now. Okay, I want to keep it. So this one is okay. So this is data loading and down counting. So let's say enable is equal to 1, load is t is equal to 50. I want to do counting from 100 to 0. And up should be 0. And load should be 0. And here should be the counting, up should be 1. Okay, right. So you do not need 100. So you just need 100 clock cycles here. Okay, and this one is done 256 clock cycles, right? And here you do not need 256 but 205 clock cycles, 105 clock cycles. That's it. So let's finish the simulation. Okay, so what is the strategy here? We are basically resetting the system, and then we are testing up counting from 0. Then we are testing data loading and up counting, and then we are testing data loading and down counting. Okay, so data loading and up counting starts from 50 onwards, and data loading and down counting starts from 100, and it will keep down counting 99, 98 up to 0. Okay, so here you go. No saving, just discard. Okay, so first of all, keep it in the signed decimal so we can see everything, and then full view. So first of all, let's look at simple up counting. Simple up counting means it starts from 0. Okay, so it starts from 0. It should go to, okay, so we should go to, it should go to 185, 221. Okay, here you go. It goes to 255, and after 255, max tick is generated. After it goes to 0, and then min tick is generated. Okay, so after that, here you go. After that, we activated the loading signal. So whenever we activated the loading signal and we applied 50 on the T, so that 50 was loaded into the register, into the counter. So the next up counting will start from 50. Okay, so you can see that it starts from 50 and it goes to again to 55. Okay, here you go. It goes to again 255. So here, what we have done, here we have started loading and down counting. Okay, so we have loaded value of 100. So this value of 100 is loaded, and then we have done down counting. So it starts down counting 100, 99, 98, 97. It keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, keeps going up to 0. Okay, so here you go. This is 0 value. No, we need more simulation. Okay, here you go. So keep going, keep going. Okay, here it touches the 0 value. So it's min tick generated, and after 0 it touches, it goes to 255 and max tick is generated. Okay, so that's it. Any questions before I share you the code? Any questions?
सर इसमें क्लियर है, ये क्लियर है ये वाला.
ये clear है? ठीक है. Okay, I'm sending you the code on the same link.
सर वैसे इस कोड के अलावा अगर एक क्वेश्चन है, मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल अभी इसमें तो हमने किया ना कि सबसे पहले अप काउंटिंग की, फिर लोडिंग और अप काउंटिंग की, और फिर लोडिंग और डाउन काउंटिंग की, तो ये एक फ्लो में चल रहा है. अगर मैं ऐसा करना चाहूँ कि फॉर एग्जांपल लोडिंग एंड अप काउंटिंग सबसे स्टार्ट में हो, तो उसके बाद क्या मुझे रीसेट करना पड़ेगा दोबारा अप काउंटिंग कराने के लिए?
हाँ, अगर वो ऐसी वैल्यू से स्टार्ट कराना चाहते हैं जो उसकी करंट वैल्यू नहीं है, जैसे अगर आप 0 से स्टार्ट करना चाहते हैं मगर उसकी करंट वैल्यू लेट से 30 है, तो उसको आप पहले रीसेट करेंगे, फिर वो 0 से स्टार्ट होगा. ठीक है, वरना फिर वो आपकी इनिशियल वैल्यू सही नहीं आएगी. Okay, so I have updated on the same link. Then there is a, after mode counter, then there is a test page for the universal binary counter. There is another test page written by the book. You can go through also, you will learn new things from this. Okay, so this almost here, this chapter is completed. And after that chapter, there are some case studies like LED time multiplexing circuit. These are the useful for the projects. the people are doing on the 7-segment projects. This is useful. We will also do in the next class these sort of things. These 2-3 case studies we will do in the next class. So one is the stopwatch, what is FIFO buffer. So we will do this in next class. Okay, so meanwhile, what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to work on your projects. Okay, and I'm not sure about the second. Okay, there's no second term exam, exactly. So there will be only a final exam. So don't worry about the final exam right now. Put your all focus on the project, and I will schedule another class maybe 2 days after, maybe on Saturday, maybe on Monday, to discuss your projects. Maybe it will be also 2 hour and 2.5 hour class completely dedicated to projects. Okay. So any other question before I finish this class?